Hello everybody and welcome back, where today we're taking a look at a product which we do from time to time, and we're making it 3 for 3 on Fifine products. Today is the AmpliTank microphone. The links obviously to this product will be down in the description below. This isn't a sponsored review, but thank you to Fifine for sending it over to me to have a look and give it a go. From my creator perspective, I do a lot of voiceover and I have quite a few microphones now and a couple of Fifine products which have been good so far, so let's see if we can make it 3 for 3. And unboxing the tank, we have the classic cardboard, kind of reusable, recyclable design, which is good. The instruction manual, which folds out as a couple different languages and just tells you how to operate the microphone, but this one is fairly simple with its function. And aside from that, we can dig into the box itself, taking off the top cover of kind of packing foam. Below that, we just have the microphone itself and a USB-A to USB-C cable, not a USB-C to USB-C or USB-C with an adapter. It's a straight USB-C to A, but the Fifine cables I find are very nice. But first off, taking the microphone out, it feels solid. It feels nice. I've tested a couple of Fifine mics before and they felt a bit plasticky because they're more around the 40 to 70 pound range. The AmpliTank is around £100 or $100 and it feels that way. It's made out of the same kind of metal material that my Rode Mini is made out of, and it feels really solid in the hand and nice and premium for this price point, which it kind of should for an entry-level mic. So we've got the cable as well, USB-A to USB-C, as I said. The Fifine cables are always pretty reliable, they're pretty solid, and I've never had a bad experience with them. As I said, this is the audio from the AmpliTank that you're hearing right now, which should sound a little different, a little flatter than my usual microphone. However, we'll get into a more full display between the two later on. But for now, we're jumping over to my mic stand where we're going to take off my old AmpliGame AM8, which is my usual daily driver, and replace it. Because this microphone, the AmpliTank, does not come with a flat stand like the AM8 did. It has to be attached to an arm. Both of them can connect by XLR, but we'll have a look over the inputs and everything later. But yeah, taking off the microphone and reattaching it is incredibly simple, just twisting straight off, and the AmpliTank fits nicely and snug on there, and you can position it how you like since it has an arm built in with a small knob on the side to tighten that as well. So you can get a lot of different points of contention for each of the places where it's attached to get it exactly sat how you want it to be. Even though my little Sony camera's focus seems allergic to the microphone right now, it does just fit with an XLR cable on the back. It is XLR or USB-C for its connection, and any cable of those types will do. Fits snugly in there, fits very nicely. The input obviously is metal, but the housing around it is metal as well, which makes it feel a bit nicer than the AM8 that I'm used to. And you can swap this out again for a USB-C if you'd like, and they sit the same back there, along with a headphone jack, which also fits nicely. What can I say? It's a headphone jack, always appreciated for real-time monitoring. So when you're plugging the microphone straight into whatever you're recording or playing into, you can hear your voice fed back to you to monitor it and make sure that everything's okay. As comes standard with most microphones, you have got a mute switch, which feels fairly standard. Nothing really nice and clicky about it. It's just a button that works. And the same can be said for the volume knobs, both for your gain and your headphone feedback volume. Both work completely fine, but nothing special. They're fairly smooth, but they feel a bit more plasticky than the rest of the build, but still perfectly functional and good. My mixer of choice is the Fifine SC3 mixer. It's a really good cheap piece of kit. It's around 50 quid. It does everything I need to with levels, custom buttons, voice changing if you really want it, although I don't use it that often, and all of your mute switches and buttons for monitoring, because you can monitor from the mixer as well as the microphone. So whatever input you're using, you'll have some way to monitor your levels, but I've had no problems at all, and it sounds really nice with this, which you're hearing right now. But let's get on to some actual sound comparisons, either into my recording software or into a gaming console. This is the Fifine AmpliGame AM8, my current AmpliGame microphone that I use for all of my videos, although that may be changing now that we have the tank. But this is being run through XLR cable to the SC3 mixer, which is then running through USB-C from that to my recording software. So you're getting better quality here with the XLR cable than you would be with USB-C, as a little comparison to the other microphone that I'm reviewing. This is a test of the Fifine AmpliTank instead of the AmpliGame, which is my current daily driver. This will probably be replacing it, but this should be a lot more of a neutral sound than the AM8, which you'll hear in a minute, which is a lot better for podcasting, this sort of thing. And if you've got a well-treated space, it's a lot better to have a microphone like this compared to the AmpliGame AM8, where That's more of a microphone that's great for a room that maybe has a bit more ambient noise, because it is a bit more bassy, it is a bit more condensed, and it keeps your voice in there. But this is the sound through XLR to a mixer, the SC3, into my recording software, not USB-C. And this is the Fifine AmpliGain AM8 without any mixer or anything in between. This is just straight through the USB-C cable to USB-C into my recording software. No middleman with the mixer. This is straight through. As a little comparison to the Tank microphone, which can also be run through USB to USB instead of having a mixer or an XLR cable. You can pretty much just run it straight through with no other external middleman required, and this is what that sounds like. This is the sound of the Fifine AmpliTank through USB, not through a mixer or anything like that. This is straight from USB-C to USB-A, and then into my recording software as it is out of the box, essentially. You don't have to buy any other equipment. This is how the microphone will sound, with a little bit of work with a compressor just to bring up some levels and get it so that everything's kind of uniform across this video sound-wise. But this is the sound that you'll get. Whether or not you do anything to it, this is literally just kind of like a volume boost that I've given it just to level out, and nothing else has been done to it in terms of post-production or anything like that. Interestingly, I was comparing plosives before in the last test, but there seems to be not really many plosives at all with this microphone. There's a good pop filter built into the mic, it seems, to stop those plosives from getting through. My voice sounds really clean compared to with the AmpliGain AM8, where the plosives are a lot more impactful and they do disturb kind of your listening experience, because you can feel the kind of wind hitting, you know, your ears as the plosives go off. So it sounds pretty nice, but this is through normal USB-C to USB-A with no mixer or anything in between at all. So we are on PlayStation 5 plugged in via USB-C, and this is the AmpliTank. This is how it will sound once it's gone through all the PS5 and PlayStation PSN compression. This is the sound you're kind of looking at for that, and luckily...
The bridge is yours, Helldiver.
Thanks, Helldiver. It sounds pretty good, but we're just in the Helldivers 2 lobby, so you can hear it with some game sounds, nothing too intense. But if you're playing a game, this is what other people will hear, or if you're recording straight into your PS5, this is what it will sound like. Overall, I'm very, very happy with the Fifine AmpliTank. Coming in at almost double the price of the previous microphone that I've been using, it sounds a lot more neutral and flat. You can do a lot more with it. The plosives are less harsh. The sound is very well rounded, and I really, really like how it feels and sounds. The build quality is lovely, and I pretty much have nothing bad to say about it. The only thing I would say is you can get similar sounding, if not a little more bassy and more harsh on the plosives sort of sound, for about £40 less with the AmpliGain AM8 if you're looking at the Fifine microphones. But for the lovely build quality of the Tank, I would happily recommend it. Thank you to Fifine for sending over this microphone once again. Thank you all for watching and checking out this little review. And thank you to our patrons and YouTube members, Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jin007, A License to Chill, Sun, WTF, and Piosco, and Fat Controllers.